Okay, everybody, you're going to have to bear with me on this one because, quite frankly, I don't know what I am doing. Well, I don't know what I've been doing. I think that's become pretty much apparent over the last couple of months. Before I start talking to you about the update for the That's So 2000's project, I'm going to ask you to please do all of the things. You know what they are. All right, so from what I can see, I only had a couple things going on. I don't know. I haven't a clue, like I said. Anyway, the That's So 2000's project goes by the hashtag That's So 2000's PP. So 2000 SPP. Don't forget the S. This is something that was created by Sam, and she did this in collaboration with the Fantastic Ladies. So Sam's channel is First Time Panner, and she does have videos on YouTube, but she also does a lot of stuff on Instagram, and she's First Time Panner there too. I'm going to have her YouTube channel linked down below, along with the Fantastic Ladies in the description box, so make sure you go over and watch her stuff. She's delightful. She is lovely. She is calming and relaxing and just all these wonderful things. So if you haven't seen Sam, go check her out. Now, this is the second round of this project that she has done, and she added 10 prompts for this year's version of it. It started April 16th of 2023. It's going to end April 16th of 2024. We're supposed to be doing monthly updates. Well, yeah, we know that doesn't work with me. We were supposed to randomize 5 to work on at a time, and it's a rolling style project pan. Now, this is where I've got things screwy, and she did give us the option that if we complete these, we can do the prompts more than once with a different item. That didn't work for me in the first round. There were a few that I had missed, so I know I put them in at the beginning. What I came up with for this month is that I had 2 things left in this project. How we went from 5 to that, I don't know. Maybe I had more, but I don't have a clue. Anyway, problem being the photos, as usual. I had my lip gloss is poppin', so any lip gloss, and I had the Glamlight Hershey's Kisses lip gloss in milk chocolate with almonds was the shade. I had it in for 20 uses. I completed that, so I don't have it here to show you. And then I had the dog Happy Meal toy. So from a line you collect or have many of, I put in a palette from Saints, Angels, Sinners. It was just a small 4-pan quad. That was redundant. It was a quad. The palette itself was part of a charity release. Oh, it was a charity release. So part of the money went to charity. That's why it was called SAS Cares. I had a goal in to use each shade 2 times. I did that. At some point, go check out my IG. Mine is linked down in the right by the disclaimer in the description box in every video. And what I've been doing with some of these things is I've just been putting up the photos on Instagram since I have editing issues. So they may be all lumped together because I think I have a few things that need to be put together. I don't think for those 2 things, I don't think I'm going to do just a separate post. I'm not real good with keeping up on my IG. Anyway, let's move on to what we are bringing in because I think that's just going to at least be a little bit more coherent. So the first thing that I am bringing in is flare jeans, something that adds flair to your look. For that, I went with highlighters because I like the blingy highlighters personally. So I am bringing in this palette. This is the Sugar Rush Frosted. Sure it is. Fresh and Frosted. As you can see, even though I can't say it, this is a highlighter trio. And Sugar Rush is part of Tarte? Too Faced? Well, I don't even know. I don't know, and I don't know if it says. Anyway, it's a sister brand to one of the bigger brands. So we've got 3 shades in here. And for this one, I am going to bring in the shade Glazed, which, well, it helps if you take the plastic off. That might help with the reflection. Silly. Well, it's still shiny. But Glazed is this first one. Ooh. So this is what it looks like. And I'm going to bring that in for 5 uses. And there it is on the hand. I mean, it packs a punch. It's pretty solid. So I figured that was a good one to start with. Oh, I'm going to have glitter on everything. Ah, well. Or sparkle. I guess it's not really glitter. Then the next thing I am bringing in is frosted tips. Now, this is something that is supposed to be frosted or icy. So I'm going to bring in another shade from the Fresh and Frosted palette. And I am bringing in the shade Iced. That's what it is. And iced is the third one. So this is kind of a, I don't know if it's peach or pink. I really can't tell. So I'm guessing I could probably pull it off. Well, it looks peachy on my finger because there's some gold to it. So maybe it is more peach than pink. Yeah, it's definitely got more gold to it, so it's definitely more peachy. So that is what that looks like. So I'm going to bring that in for 5 uses also. And then put that back together. There we go. Now it's put back together. The next one I'm bringing in is Cheetah Girls. So this is any animal print. I don't have a lot of things with animal print. I have a lot of things with pictures of animals on the cover, and I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to go. And then I thought, oh, well, I'll just do this. And then I realized it's an insect, so I don't think it really qualifies anyway, but I'm doing it. That's what you're just going to have to deal with it. I am bringing in the Pink Crush Cosmetic Metamorphosis palette. I figured it had a butterfly print, so that's a print, right? And then I realized, well, that's insect. Does that count as animal, or is it a separate category? I don't know. This is one of my favorite palettes. I like Pink Crush Cosmetics a lot, but this one is very much my jam. This is the blues and purples and all the fun colors in there. And then we have a couple of, like a duochrome and some iridescent type of stuff in here. So we've got all kinds of fun stuff. I'm going to do 3 looks with this. So what I'll do is I'll write down which shades I use from the palette with each look. And I may take pictures and throw that on Instagram for you, whichever. But I just wanted to play with the palette a little bit, and I figured if I just did it as 3 looks, then I can use as many or as few shades as I want. It does. I won't do I won't throw in a shade and count it as a look. I won't do that to you. But I wanted to give this just a little more love because it's fun. So that is what we're doing there. Then the next thing is chunky jewelry. So something chunky or bulky. This is my own fault. I'm going to bring in this. This is the world's biggest bottle of the Garnier Micellar Water. Now, this one is not the waterproof. This was, I think, one of the first ones. The waterproof is the blue one. They have a C one now that has an orange lid. This is just the original micellar water with the pink lid. It is 23.7 ounces. I don't use micellar water all that much. This is going to last me a million years. So I did put a little line, at least on where we're starting, and I'm going to bring this in for 20 uses because otherwise it's going to, well, I leave in April anyway, but this is when the project, it's going to be the end of the project most likely. If I use up the 20 quickly, then I'll expand that. But I figured if I can at least get 20 more uses, because I have used it a couple times, obviously. It's not as full as it was up at the top. But I weighed it. We are at 693 grams. I'm going to have this forever. And this is not something I'm bringing back and forth. I have micellar waters in Minnesota. I'm not going to do that to myself. But I thought, oh, well, I'll just get the biggest bottle because it's on sale and it's a good price. And I'm never going to go through it. I don't know what I was thinking. So I'm bringing it into a project to use it. All right, then we have got MySpace Top 8. Use your favorite beauty product 8 times. That can go anywhere for me. So what I decided to do, because I really like this and I've only used it a few times, is to bring in this MAC Studio Radiant Sheer Foundation. This is in C1, which I think is the lightest shade they make, which, shouldn't be surprising. And it's cool. And this is obviously it's a sheer, so, okay, can you see that? You can maybe see a little bit of it on my hand. But that's what it looks like. So it's a perfect color match for me. It is one of those where I'm going to wipe that off, where I absolutely love the formulation. I love the light coverage. I don't have a huge problem. Unless I put too much, if I squeeze too much out of my hands, I don't have a huge problem with it settling into all of the fine lines. So I'm bringing this in for the 8 uses, obviously, because I love this formulation. This is the kind of foundation I like, where it is very liquidy and very light coverage. I just want to even myself out a little bit and not look, well, it's pretty pale. I pretty much look pale no matter what. So I guess I can't really say that I want to have a little bit of color because it doesn't really help me with not looking ghostly. Whatever. All right, then I got iPod Shuffle. And so this is a whole collection roulette. Luckily, I ended up on bronzers. So for that, I am bringing in, you've seen this before, but I am going to bring in the Kiko Milano bronzer. This was the holiday release from last year. This is the Joyful Holiday Baked Bronzer. So you know that means I'm going to have this for a million years too, because a baked bronzer is going to be something that sticks around for a while. But the nice thing about this is that it's light. So it's a very good bronzer for me, and you cannot even see it on my hand. But it's not super, yeah, it blends right in. But it does also have a little bit of shimmer, so it's kind of fun. I mean, it's not super, super shiny or anything. It's not necessarily even like a topper. But if I do use the cream bronzer underneath, this plays beautifully with that. So I'll probably be doing it on its own and maybe with some of that underneath just to kind of see how I like it. I'm going to bring it in for 10 uses. So I have a little bit of wiggle room to play there. The next one is Uggs, something you wish was waterproof. I am going to bring in this LA Girl Shockwave eyeliner in Vivid. Now mine is getting a little bit smaller. You have seen it. I'm bringing it in for 5 days of use. And I was looking through my eyeliners, and I love waterproof eyeliners. They don't bleed, they don't run on me. So that's why I go with waterproof, is because I have a ton of fine lines and I'm old. And sometimes my eyes get watery. I like to actually have my eyeliner stay where it should. Another one of the reasons I use waterproof mascara too. I don't want it running, I don't want it flaking, I don't want it bleeding. So I don't have any purple waterproof eyeliners. I have 3 purples and not a one of them is waterproof. I know purple's harder to work with, and I have in the past had issues with purple eyeliners. It's one of the few things where it actually hadn't worked well for me years ago. I had a brand that I couldn't wear it. I had to get rid of it because anytime I tried to use it, it made my eyes burn and water. I know purple's difficult for eyeshadow, so I think it is for all eye products, but that is what it looks like. And this one I don't have a problem with. These stay really well for me. I haven't had them, well, I wouldn't keep them in my collection if they bled and whatever, but I just wish it was waterproof, so if I have watery eyes, I don't end up losing all of wherever it's watered through. So 5 days of use on that. And then the next thing is One Piece, a never-ending product. Didn't I just say that about baked things? So I'm going to bring in a Laura Geller Baked Blush. So Baked Blush and Brighten, this one is in Pink Buttercream. And it's lovely. Mine still has the dome on it. I've used it, but these things take so long to get the dome to fade. And it's harder to see on my finger, but there it is. And I did a really hardcore swatch. So there it is on the hand. It's a nice light color. I do like it, and I can just smack in there and throw it on without having to worry about over blushing too much. Sometimes I do that intentionally. But it's a really easy to use one for me because it is a softer color, and like I said, I don't have to baby it and worry about how bad it's going to be. This one I can just, I'm not awake half the time when I'm doing my makeup anyway. You guys know how that goes. So 10 uses on that one. All right. So that is everything. And I know that was more than 5. I think it was 6, 7. I don't know what it was. They're all every which way now. But okay. Sam, apologies. But here's how this is going to go. Because this is going to end in April. This is the December update. I want to try and get all of them, or at least as many of them in as I can before this project ends. I realize that I I don't know if I've covered the 10 new ones first or not, but I think I have covered all of these once now, maybe. But I still want to try and touch them all before the project ends because I have been disappointed in myself for how some of my projects have gone. So I am now cheating. Like, that's shocking because I don't always break the rules. And I'm actually kind of figuring out how many things I need to bring in each month so that I can hit as much as possible before finales. So Sam puts up with me. It's fine. It'll be fine. All right, that's the project for you. And for this one, for the music moment, that's where we're going next. Okay, apparently it's nap time. I decided that I was going to bring in a song from around the, okay, we'll get to the time frame. I'm bringing in the song Judith by the band A Perfect Circle. Now, A Perfect Circle is one of Maynard Keenan's other projects, in addition to Tool which is what he's best known for, having the vineyards because he has his own wines. He actually owns a vineyard. And um, Pucifer, which is a storefront not far from where I am here in Arizona. I've actually been there. And I don't know what else that does. I'm not even entirely certain what all. He does a lot of things. And so this basically, a lot of it is based on him, despite the fact that it is a band. There are other people in it. It's it's kind of his project. Now, the song Judith was actually written about his mother. His mother was quite devoutly religious. She ended up having a stroke that debilitated her. I want to say she was wheelchair bound then for the rest of her life. And she still remained very, very devout. So when you look at the lyrics, it basically is him saying it straight up is a reaction thing, and it is very much the how can you still believe in a God that would do something to you when you haven't done anything to warrant having this kind of an issue. So there's a lot of that angry at God type of thing. And I don't know, since she was devout, I'm not sure how he was raised, but he definitely does not subscribe to a very, very strong religious belief. I don't know if he has a faith or if there is, I don't know his ideologies, but this one is very much from that angry at God perspective, which a lot of people go through when they go through something traumatic. That's when they start to question their faith. That's when they get angry. And she never did, but he did in response to what happened to her, saying that you're such an inspiration for the ways that I'll never ever choose to be. Oh, so many ways for me to show you how your Savior has abandoned you. So you kind of get what I'm saying there. Now, let's go back to, this is from la 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 la. The album, it was released in 2000. It is from the album Mare de No Mare. Wow, I'm going to put it on the screen because I can't talk. All right. It was released as the lead single from that album, which was their debut album. It came out, this is interesting. The single was released as a one-track CD in North America, but then a four-track single on both disc and vinyl in Australia. And the release for it was July 8th of 2000. So I figured it fit in with the That's So 2000's project. Now, this is definitely considered hard rock, industrial rock, which is also the same vein that Tool happens to fall into. So it's kind of like, it's almost like a Corey Taylor thing where you have two different vehicles depending on which type of thing you're doing or saying, but they're still similar in some ways. Now, Maynard Keenan and Billy Howardell are the ones that get credit for the songwriting on this. Obviously, you know that there's a lot of Maynard because of it being from about his mother specifically. The guy who directed the video, which I will link down below, and I don't know if they took the language out or not because I can't remember the last time I watched the video, but there is definite language in this one. So this is your warning if you do go watch it. It may or may not be in there. But the guy who directed the video was the director of Jeez Louise. Let's try that again. The director of the movie Fight Club and the movie Seven. So, and in addition to that, he had done music videos for like Madonna and Aerosmith and the Wallflowers. So it's David Fincher. In case I didn't say that, you might want to know that. Wow. All right. Now this part I didn't understand, and it may be because I don't know what exactly Billboard has done lately. So in the U.S., this charted at 4 on Billboard's mainstream rock charts, 5 on the alternative airplay charts, which I thought the alternative was more the metal type stuff. And I could be wrong. It could run the whole gamut of alternative. And I don't know that they have a dedicated hard rock metal type of Billboard listing. I'm not sure if there's a chart for that. So because I thought it would have been higher there than it would have been for the mainstream. I thought it would have scored lower mainstream, but it's the opposite. It also hit U.S. bubbling under Hot 100 singles at number 5. And then it peaked at 25 in Australia and 34 in New Zealand. So there you go. Yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to tell you about that. I'm sure at some point I'll probably talk about something from Tool because I really like Tool. And it seems to me that Maynard, a lot of times, if he's got something that's bothering him, it seems to end up in a song. So maybe it's cathartic for him. I'm not sure. Like as a way to release some of the, this is frustrating, I don't like this, I'm mad at this. I'm not sure, but I've caught that in more than one song. So maybe at some point we'll delve into that just because it would be interesting. All right, that is everything. Song in the description box, Fantastic Ladies. Go check out Sam. She's worth a listen, no matter what, and especially if you want somebody who's nice and calm and not off the rails and screwing things up and being all over the board like me. Sam's your girl. So make sure you check her out. Thank you so much for giving me some of your time. The girls are snoring behind me, so until next time, they and I both say, see ya. Bye.